Why is it that every time I invite you to the palace, you take it upon yourself to lie on my couch and go to sleep? Edgar! Tobias exclaimed. Edgar continued to rest, secretly wishing there was silence, but after years of dealing with Tobias, he learned to tune the man out. Why do we like him, Raphael? Tobias asked, sitting back down in his chair. I find him to be cool, Raphael replied. When he was much younger, the school his mother placed him in had all sorts of young boys, but none had been more fun than Edgar Collins. Edgar had always been the one to devise a troublesome plan, and Raphael, being the quiet one, would silently follow behind what Edgar was doing. Edgar would put together some crazy adventure plan to get out of school. At the same time, Raphael enjoyed the crazy things he got to do, like searching the bushes for a snake to put in the seat of a teacher who was always nasty and fighting against boys who were jealous of their parents' status. Edgar helped to bring out a new side of him that spoke more and got into trouble. Many called him Edgar's puppet, but for the two of them, it was like a little brother following his big brother. Someone gets it, Edgar said in response to Raphael's words. If you are upset with me using your precious couch, I shall buy one and send it to the palace. This one seems to be of low quality. You are the only person bold enough to enter the palace and insult the fucking furniture. You had this wonderful glow to you, so I thought it was a sign you would be nice today, but it must be something else. Tell me. Tobias smiled as he had an answer for Edgar's sudden glow. Did the Duchess reward you last night for sticking up to William? Raphael cringed at the sight of Tobias wiggling his brows. Is there nothing else for the king to do besides gossip? Not at the moment. Why can't I gossip? I'm starting to see why women enjoy it so much. Do not act like you do not enjoy the letters I send you giving updates about all our lives. I have to do it since you live so far away. Any thoughts on moving to Lockwood? Tobias asked. To be near a pain in the ass? No, Raphael replied, earning a snicker from Edgar. I hate both of you. You are like the white version of Edgar. The good side of him, I mean, but you can still be cruel at times. The door of Tobias's study opened, interrupting the conversation as Dominic walked in. Good. You're all here. He closed the door. Edgar sat up, confused as to why Dominic was in town. Why are you in Lockwood? He asked. Because of you. Dominic pointed at Edgar. I told you now that you're married, my mother would be on my ass. Everywhere I turn, there is some young lady at my door. I'm finally moving into my new estate, so I thought I'd stop by Lockwood for a few days. I will strangle the person who tells my mother where I am. Get up, Edgar. Stop hogging the chair. Edgar sat up to give Dominic room as he pitied the poor soul. With the ongoing competition between the Carsons and Collins, it was no surprise Dominic's mother now wanted him to be married, to be on par with Edgar. Not like that will ever happen, he thought. At this big age, you are still running from your mother? Tobias chuckled. The other three men in the room looked at Tobias. Let's move on, Tobias said, clearing his throat. We were just talking about the Duchess giving Edgar the time of his life. Doesn't he look different today? Oh, I am not entertaining this conversation. My brother has a permanent reminder of why no one should talk about Edgar's wife. Poor thing, he can't smile anymore, or he gets questioned about his missing tooth. I almost pity him. Almost. But I have been enjoying the silence. You need to watch out, Edgar. Daniel is furious and looking to get back at you. Someone might show up trying to kill you, said Dominic. Let them come, Edgar replied, unafraid of Daniel sending someone to harm him. He would get rid of that person and send someone capable of doing the job to get rid of Daniel. You should talk some sense into him to continue having a younger brother. My days without him around were honestly better. I suppose that to be a good person, I should talk to him. What's going on with you, Raphael? Any trouble lately? Dominic asked, pretending to be unaware of the woman's trouble Raphael was having. Raphael should blame the little birdie named Tobias. Why would anyone tell Tobias their business was beyond him? Raphael glared at Tobias, knowing where this conversation was heading. Hey, Edgar told me about it, Tobias said, blaming Edgar. I did, Edgar admitted to it. We're losing another good fellow to love. Whatever happened to none of us will get married? I didn't believe Tobias would keep his word since the king needs a queen, but Edgar and Raphael? Come on, said Dominic, disappointed by the two. I'm still trying to wrap my head around how Edgar married Desmond's daughter when you hated the very existence of the man. How did you even meet again? That's easy. I sent him... Wait. Tobias sat up, realizing he was meant to bring that up to Edgar. Where are my gifts or thanks for sending you to the Baron's home? Isn't that where this whole love story started? Edgar sighed. He had been hoping Tobias would never bring up that it was thanks to him he had met and fallen for Alessandra. We are here to talk about the border and William. Ah! Tobias cut off Edgar. Look at how he is deflecting. I am the one who set him up with his wife. I successfully meddled in his love life. Raphael scooted down to another chair to get out of Edgar's way in case he wanted to throw something at Tobias to shut him up. So really, I should be blaming you, Dominic realized. Thanks to you, I am stuck with my mother forcing me to have a wife. Listen, the solution to your troubles is obvious. Find a girl you can pretend you are courting and think of marrying so your mother will back off. Keep dragging it out, saying this girl wants to take things slow. Boom! Tobias smacked his hand on the table because of the brilliant idea. Not bad. Dominic shook his head. You're not as foolish as you look. Hey! Tobias exclaimed. I am the smartest out of the four of us. Raphael is the best at fighting, Edgar is the most wealthy, and Dominic is just Dominic. What the fuck kind of list is this? Dominic cursed. I don't mind it, Raphael muttered. Tobias had another bright idea, so he suggested, why don't we have a little test? Let's put it to the test once and for all who are the smartest and strongest ones, Tobias suggested. With the drama in the palace lately and how much of it he was keeping from Hazel, he could use a moment to enjoy some fun with the people he trusted. It wasn't every day he got to be near them in his suffocating palace. Are you going to chicken out? He asked, looking at Dominic. Dominic was ready for any challenge, since Tobias needed to properly rank him. He didn't train frequently like the other three, but he should be considered the smartest of the bunch. Besides, if Edgar had restrained himself, he would have been stronger than Tobias. Edgar? Raphael? Raphael couldn't understand how his visit to get an update on the border before he headed there turned into figuring out who was better than who. As long as he talks about the border right after, I cannot stay in this place for too long, he said. Edgar lay down in the chair after Dominic had stood up. Why would he participate in this game when he knew how better he was than all three in certain areas? Tobias could call himself the smartest one, until his mind started to believe his big mouth. Why the hell aren't you joining in this game, Edgar? Afraid you'll lose and wound your ego? Tobias asked. Far from it, Edgar replied, closing his eyes to enjoy the peace of them leaving. I should be labeled the smartest for not getting involved in this game. Tobias listed himself as the smartest, making the list not credible from the beginning. Besides, I am here to speak about William, not make all of you cry from losing. We can talk about William right after. It's not like you missed the opportunity to prove your greatness. Besides, it is most likely time the women have started to walk around the palace. Do you want to miss showing your wife you are attempting to beat the four of us? Tobias asked. What is this bright idea of yours to test out who is the strongest or smartest anyway? Your Highness. Dominic dragged out the words to mock Tobias. For the smartest, we can use the big maze in the garden to see who gets out first. Then there's all kinds of equipment for us. You want us to go out into the snow and walk through a maze? Forget all this. Tobias is the stupid one, just like we thought, Dominic decided. Edgar raised his hand. I second that. I am not going outside in the cold to become sick. Fine. How about we just test for strength and speed? A quick race around the palace and then a weightlifting challenge, Tobias suggested, since the two grumpy pants were against the snow idea. Raphael will win in speed and strength. I will be in second as I keep up my training and am naturally skilled. Tobias is in better shape than Dominic and will undoubtedly be third. Dominic, I'm afraid you're last, but you are far better than many of the guards in the castle. As for common sense, we know how that list goes, Edgar said, looking directly at Tobias. Now that has been settled, can we talk about William and the border? Edgar enjoyed being all together, but they had no time to waste. Tobias, you also need to deal with Grant. You can't continue to distract yourself with fun to avoid dealing with other things. You are no longer a child. What are you trying to run away from? Edgar asked. Tobias sighed, sitting back down in his seat. I told Hazel about Grant wanting me to take Linda as a mistress to try for a prince. She smiled and said okay at first, but the longer she thought about it, the more upset she got. That is understandable since she is her friend. I am worried about her in the palace. I had to tell her before someone else could, but I regret it. She's already annoyed by the other women invited to catch my eye. There is nothing she has to worry about. You may be a liar, a pain in the ass, always calling people from their homes even though they just returned from the war. Raphael, this is not how compliments work, Tobias muttered between the list of things he did. But you are loyal to your wife. Raphael ended on a good note. Thank you, I guess. Tobias side-eyed Raphael. I am taking Hazel out of town in a couple of days. We'll be staying at one of your larger homes outside of town, free of charge, Edgar. Thank you, Tobias said. Edgar opted to remain silent. His homes weren't cheap, and he constantly needed a heads up from anyone who wanted to stay there. This was the first he had heard of Tobias wishing to use his home. Why was the king cheap? He would only allow it to happen since Grant had upset Hazel. And if Alessandra got wind of this, she would convince him to let the couple stay there for free. Or perhaps he should let her know about it, so she would have to do something. He wanted to let Tobias and Hazel stay there for free. There are plenty of homes owned by the palace. Why don't you use them? Afraid someone would try to attack you too when you're away from the palace? Why ask and then answer your question? Tobias asked, trying to make sense of Dominic. Let's get back on track. William Lancaster. I want to strike him quickly and without too much attention on his home being infiltrated. I need a distraction, Edgar said, already plotting what he would do. Are there any days with more than one party at the same time? Tobias thought about it for a moment. There is one. 2 days from now at 7 p.m, 3 parties will be on opposite sides of the town, spread out like a triangle. It'll be a busy night, so that's your moment. You should go in with little to no guards. Pick the best of the best. It's always quality, not quantity when infiltrating someone's home. Edgar was one step in front of Tobias. Getting a group of men ready to kill William for him was not hard to do. I've already taken care of that. The only thing missing is the layout of William's home. I need to get my hands on someone who has been inside. I need to visit one of your prisoners before I leave. I have a proposal for their freedom. Does the Duchess know what you are plotting? Tobias asked, curious about how much Edgar was telling his wife. She overheard us yesterday, but hasn't spoken about it. I want her to be left out of it as much as possible. Do not mention it to her or your wife. Common sense should tell you that women speak. A knock at the door interrupted Edgar. "Come in," Tobias ordered the person on the outside. A guard entered the room with a glum expression, and his shoulders slumped. "A king. Word was just sent from the town guards. The body of a young girl was found not too long ago. It has started again." Tobias clenched his fist, feeling the need to curse, but he couldn't let out a sound. He pushed everything on his desk onto the floor to show his frustration. "Has she been identified?" Edgar asked, since Tobias was too angry to ask questions. The thing is, her face is kind of destroyed, so the guards are calling for all the families with missing girls to try identifying her. She was found on top of a bed of flowers someone placed above the snow," said the guard. The snow had not begun to cover the body, so they believed it hadn't been long since the culprit was there. The body was found by children who had been playing with the snow in that area frequently. "Did anyone get a glimpse of what this person looks like?" Tobias asked through gritted teeth. This body was another young lady they had failed to save. He felt guilty for trying to distract himself and have fun when they had not solved this case. His blood was boiling to the point of wanting to search all homes and to look for the young women who might be alive or dead. Their bodies weren't placed around the kingdom for this sick game. If the children play there regularly, the body was placed there intentionally to be found. Whoever this is letting us know so we can be prepared. "Tobias, I am certain this is not William," Edgar said, as this cruel game differed from the one William was playing. William was still going to die, but Edgar had a feeling, even with William dead, another body would show up. "I don't give a fuck who the hell it is. I want that person found and tortured right now. William and this psycho. I want both of them dealt with soon. It's always the same goddamn flower each time." "You," Tobias looked at the palace guard. "Send word to the town guards that I am giving a royal order to inspect all homes in Lockwood. I want all the homes with anyone planting, buying, selling, or painting those flowers to be inspected thoroughly." "This person is not going to have this flower out in the open," Edgar sighed. The case would have been cracked if it was so easy. "I don't give a fuck. It is the only lead we have at the moment." "Pardon me for cutting in, but didn't some of these victims show interest in the theater? 4 of them, to be exact. 2 were said to be good at acting. One of their bodies was found late compared to the timeline of the other women, and the other has not been discovered yet, according to the news I have heard. Am I right?" Raphael asked, looking back and forth between Edgar and Tobias, who had better knowledge. "That is true. What are you getting at?" Tobias questioned, curious to know where Raphael was going with this. "There is a theory that this person is picking out girls who can act to his liking," Edgar replied, understanding what Raphael was hinting at. "The kingdom once had a killer who kidnapped an older woman to act as his late mother. Whenever she didn't do it to his liking, he beat her. She only escaped after convincing herself she was his mother, and he trusted her enough to let her go outside." Edgar had been using old cases to help him see this person's train of thought. The theory that this killer wanted these young girls to act as someone wasn't far-fetched. "We still don't know what this person is looking for, besides the young girls being able to play a role. No one else from the theater went missing after those 4. Girls with no desire to act were starting to disappear." "Maybe they want a more natural person. You know, the perfect person who naturally likes what they want these girls to be. None of these girls look alike and their backgrounds differ, so maybe it is a personality thing," Dominic suggested. "Shit, I don't know," Tobias replied, rubbing his temple since he had no answer. Each theory they had always ended up at a wall. "Every mother says the girls were sweet, but when we ask around, friends say they were mean-spirited, a heartless bitch, two-faced, good at playing nice." Edgar listed the names young girls were happy to give him. "I checked the relationship between the girls, and most of them did not know each other. So it wasn't like they had come together to gang up on someone, and now this person was getting revenge." Our only clue is that this person loves anyone good at pretending to be something they are not. Welcome to Lockwood, where more than half the population is like that, Tobias said sarcastically. He'd seen many women switch their personalities depending on who they were standing in front of. I will visit the town guards to see the body and get information. An inspection of the body must have already started. I will deal with William and this person. We will catch them, Edgar promised Tobias. He knew it had to be a heavy burden on Tobias's shoulders to have a mass murderer in the kingdom while he was king and not able to do anything about it. As king, Tobias had other matters on his plate and could not focus on this one problem. So he gave the task to Edgar instead of just depending on the town guards. Now he was using Raphael at the borders. I will join you. Dominic offered his help. He wanted to help bring some peace to the families of these young women lost by knowing the killer was no longer alive. I will head to the border now. Raphael stood up. Do not let this stop you from leaving town with your wife. You need a break before the weight on your shoulders breaks you. Not just you, but the queen being pressured to have an heir. We will take care of your duties in your place. I was supposed to skip town soon, but sure, Dominic thought. He could stay longer if his mother hadn't found out about him being here. Perhaps crash at Edgar's house, since none of his relatives could barge in there. Tobias remained slumped in his chair, feeling weak for being unable to stop this. The guards, Edgar, Raphael, and Dominic, left the room to give Tobias space to think or calm down. Are you going somewhere? Hazel asked the moment they stepped outside. She had brought the women to her husband, hoping to tease Alessandra and Edgar. Why do you all look so down? Did something happen? Another young lady found dead, Dominic informed her. Oh, is Tobias inside alone? Hazel asked, trying to peek inside to look at him. The door was slightly ajar, but she could not see past the men. I'm sorry, ladies, but I must be excused momentarily. Excuse me, she said, asking for space to enter the room. Just as she expected, Hazel found her husband sulking by his desk. She closed the door behind her for privacy and locked it so as not to be interrupted. Tobias, it is not... There is another one, Hazel. Under my father's ruling, this would have never gone on for so long, but I don't have any proper leads. I am failing. This will only give those opposing me something to say to turn people against me. Tobias clenched his fist, angered by the thought. Hazel approached the desk and did something the people in the palace would frown at her for doing. She sat on Tobias's lap. Tobias, I watch you every day be the best king you can be. It is not your fault this is still going on. We have some of the best people in this case, and they cannot solve it yet, but they will. We will bring peace back to this land. This is going on. You're being pressured for a child, and now you have to deal with others wanting your best friend to become my mistress. I am failing to protect you and everyone else, he confessed. No, you're not. I am aware of how many people wouldn't mind me being tossed out of the palace for not having an heir yet. But you have defended, protected, or even killed them for me. You have protected me from the beginning, which is why I love you. My dear, sweet king. Hazel caressed his cheek, something she knew always calmed him down. This will all get better. I promise. Unfortunately for Hazel, it was the calm before the storm. Edgar, do you know Sophia? Alessandra asked to confirm something before she ran into the woman again. The princess? Is that little brat here? Edgar replied, looking around for the annoying little Princess Sophia. He was always on edge whenever the princess was near. It should have been impossible, but she was more irritating than her brother. Not the princess. Sophia West. Her husband is a part of the court, and she claims to have been intimate with you. He wasn't, Dominic answered for Edgar. None of us here have. The woman is beautiful, but there are popular tales of itching after a night with her. You can spot her husband by his constant itch in the groin area, Dominic replied, trying his best not to laugh. The man always bragged about his young wife, not knowing no one was jealous of him. I see. She was quite loud with her claims. I do not understand why she would lie like that, since it did not bother me. Do I have to leave now? Alessandra asked, changing the subject to something more substantial. No, Edgar said, not wanting to ruin the fun for her. You can still enjoy your time here. Remain in sight of the palace guards at all times. I will return for you. I can take her home, Emma offered. Edgar didn't take his eyes off Alessandra to see who offered a ride. I will return for you, he said louder, so everyone present would be clear that he was coming back for his wife. Do not get into anyone's carriage, even if someone offers a royal carriage. I know, Alessandra replied. With another body found, she would not leave the palace with anyone but Edgar. Even with the other girls, as it did not seem like they traveled with a guard, and she would not ride with the palace guard since anyone could be the culprit. I will stay by Hazel's side. You should be careful, Edgar. The town had been quiet for so long that everyone had forgotten they needed to be aware of their surroundings since this person was still out there. It was troubling to have been doing this for so long and have no one to give this person a clue. Edgar and the town guards were not up against an easy opponent. Never expected to see you here, Dominic said to Heather, who was trying to hide behind the group. Did Edgar's mother send you here to spy on the Duchess? Still trying to win his heart? Heather had hoped Dominic would not spot her, and if he did, that he would not speak to her. She saw him many times in her youth when Priscilla would invite her to be around Edgar, and Dominic would be there with his brother Daniel. I no longer do that. Haven't you heard? His mother made me an outcast, and my mother is upset with me. I don't care for Edgar's affection. Good, because you were never going to get it. What? Dominic shrugged when Heather looked at him. Boys talk, and with Edgar, you never had to guess if he liked you. I'm sorry to hear about the outcast part, but I'm glad you're free of being by his mother's side. You weren't too bad to be around when she wasn't near. Thank you, I guess. Why are you in Lockwood? Heather asked, only now realizing how far away from home he was. Running from your mother again? She guessed. Yeah, Edgar's marriage is affecting his peers. Now everyone is pressured to get married and settle down. I'm moving into an estate not too far out of Lockwood. A gift from my grandmother. If you ever need to run away from your mother, my doors are open to you, said Dominic. To start a scandal? No, thank you. Heather denied it. As a Carson, Dominic had too many eyes on him. She was tired of the attention at this point in her life. Look where it led her. The bright side of all of this is I can now find someone I can love and who genuinely loves me back. I must do it before my mother tries to set me up with someone. Well, good luck with that. I am running away from my mother to get away from getting married. What a nice privilege. I will say that I might become so tired of this lifestyle that I will either return to Whitetown or take my inheritance and settle down somewhere small. I have been planning it out for the last couple of days, said Heather. The fast-paced life of high society no longer suited her. She had been by Priscilla's side since her youth and met people she thought were her friends, but now that Priscilla no longer needed her, those people weren't around. Yet again, my house is open to you if that is the path you want to take. I promise not to charge you too much rent, Dominic joked, earning a chuckle from Heather. Just ensure you aren't followed and a scandal won't happen. Edgar's leaving, so I have to leave, but it was nice seeing you. You too. Heather waved goodbye. With Edgar, Dominic, and the guard gone, only Raphael remained. He was kind by offering Tobias some privacy and mentioning going to the border, but he honestly could not leave without getting information from him. He hoped the king and queen weren't going at it while an audience was outside. Raphael Callahan, have we ever met? Emma asked in a sweet tone. She couldn't help swooning over the sight of the famous knight. She wished her parents had set her up with Raphael, not Oliver. No, Raphael bluntly replied. He took a step back to get away from her intense gaze. He didn't miss the ring on her finger. And though he was at odds with a specific person back home, she would have his head for being so close. Why are you here in the palace? Have you come to deal with all the murders? It wouldn't be surprising since it would take someone like you to crack this case. Emma complimented him. You should remember your fiancé is leading the case behind the Duke. No wonder the two of you aren't close. You should be saving this compliment for Oliver, Eleanor muttered. She couldn't understand what the hell Emma was doing. Raphael stepped away from Emma now that he knew who she was engaged to. He wasn't on good terms with her husband-to-be. Edgar had introduced him to Oliver in the past, and for no reason, Oliver had hated him. I do compliment Oliver, but he does not respond to it. Raphael is a talented knight, so it is only fitting to compliment him too. Emma rolled her eyes as she replied to Eleanor. Why did the queen even invite Eleanor to walk with her? Eleanor should be grateful for the invite and stay quiet. I am not here for that case. I will be heading to the border to deal with the trouble there, Raphael replied. You'll be dealing with those barbarians, Emma gasped. Alessandra looked at Emma, confused by who she was